The results of Ms. Heard's evaluation supported 2 diagnoses: borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder.
Dr. Shannon Curry bottom lining it for the jury today, talking about Amber Heard. She's an expert. We've got our own experts. Let's bring him in. And in Los Angeles, California, forensic psychiatrist, trial expert witness, and columnist, Dr. Carole Lieberman, also with us. Great to have you both here. I want to begin with a very brief definition for everybody. Then I've got 3 examples that I want to play for you to get your reaction to. Okay, Dr. Carole Lieberman, histrionic personality disorder. Give me the short definition of that one.
Sure. Histrionic personality, well, first of all, personality disorders are formed before age 18, and it comes from your upbringing, your relationships primarily with people in your environment, your parents particularly. People with histrionic personality, they are drama queens, and they want to be the center of attention all the time. They use their looks, flirtatiousness. They can tell stories about being the victim or being a princess in order to get this kind of attention. And you know, she didn't mention this, but there is another personality disorder that is part of what's called cluster B, which is narcissistic personality disorder. And that typically goes with borderline and histrionic.
Okay, Dr. Carole Lieberman, I'll start with you. How does what we just heard, what was just described, relate to her diagnosis?
Well, the number one symptom or psychological problem for borderlines is abandonment. You know, we've talked about this before, how that is the number one thing, you know, when he would try to back away from their arguments and from her abuse, that she would then run after him, and then that would heighten the argument. It would get into a cycle. So this is key.
Dr. Carole Lieberman, I have another one here. This doesn't involve Johnny, but is Kate James, Amber's former assistant.
I do remember on one occasion when we were moving from part-time to full-time, and then the salary negotiations became a real bone of contention. And I specifically remember standing in her office where she leapt up out of her chair, put her face approximately 4 inches from my face. She was spitting in my face and telling me how dare I ask for the salary I was asking for, which was in fact approximately half of my regular annual salary. I was offering her that as a favor, and she felt that gave her the right to spit in my face.
Dr. Carole Lieberman, how about that behavior?
Yes, you know, that's the value of this expert. We've been hearing this other testimony from Johnny and from these other people describing Amber's behavior. And then we have a psychologist come in as an expert and connect it to the symptoms of a disorder, in particular on borderline personality disorder. This can speak to her impulsivity, her anger, her changes in mood, her paranoia in a sense, of course, also histrionic, because she wants to be the center of attention. How dare anybody else ask for a salary? But you know, this psychologist was great in direct and redirect, but she really crumbled to too much, to a significant extent in cross, and that was because Amber's attorney really surprised her at the very beginning and threw her off balance with this story of, isn't it true that you had dinner and drinks with Johnny at his house? I mean, implying almost that it was just the two of them having a romantic dinner. And then, of course, she said, well, it was with his attorneys, and they were interviewing me, you know, to see whether they wanted to have me as an expert witness. And it was for 3 or 4 hours. So that made her look unprofessional, and that kind of threw her off for the rest of her cross testimony. And then also in the cross, she really hadn't prepared enough in terms of remembering the record she read, and particularly her own deposition. This is the classic trick, you know, where the opposing attorney compares what you say now to what you said in your deposition. So you always have to almost memorize what you said in your deposition.
Absolutely. Dr. Carole Lieberman, incredible stuff tonight. Thank you so much for your insight and your valuable time. We'll talk again. Okay, we're talking about